In the 250 years since its establishment, the citizens of Semmelweis University have always performed admirably at key events in history. This was the case during the 1956 Revolution and War of Independence as well. We followed the example of our great predecessor when during this year's epidemic situation, which has not been seen in living memory, we took a leading role in the defense of our nation.
The 1956 Revolution and War of Independence was one of the defining events of Hungary's 20th century history, where Hungary fought against the Soviet occupation and dictatorship. The revolution began with a peaceful protest of university students on the 23rd of October 1956 and grew into an armed uprising after shots were fired into an unarmed crowd. The Soviet Union waged war against the country on the 4th of November, and the revolution fell on the 11th of November. Therefore, October 23rd is a national holiday and remains a symbol of unity and cooperation in Hungary.
Semmelweis University has always been the protector of life and stood up to this commitment in the hours of the revolution as well. Almost all of our clinics took part in treating the injured. More than 300 were treated in the second department of surgery, around 100 in the second department of pediatrics, and close to 170 in the department of urology. Although several of our buildings were destroyed in the fights, the university held firm.
Like Ignác Semmelweis, we, the citizens of Semmelweis University, know that we can never be satisfied with just doing our basic duty. We always have to strive to be the best. The heroes of 1956, similar to their successors today, had many different motivations and interests, but they acted together to achieve their goals, setting an example in this regard as well.
The area around the Hölgyes block of the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences was one of the emblematic sites of events. This is where the urgent task of drug and bandage supplies was organized, while our colleagues and students also took a role in rescue efforts.
The building of the Faculty of Health Sciences in Vas Street functioned as a state hospital during the revolution. The area saw heavy fighting and many injured people were treated within the building's walls. As a result, this faculty building reminds us to this day of sacrifices made by our predecessors, including the nurses and paramedics whose commitment and dedication has been recorded by history.
Dr. Andrea Zsebe, our faculty's namesake, called on students during the revolution to provide care for children in need despite the general strike. We always have to take responsibility for the lives in our hands, regardless of the external circumstances.
Remember the 56 revolution, we also have to remember those medical students or doctors who were ready to sacrifice their life to save other people's life. And they also did the same that Ignác Semmelweis did in an earlier revolution and freedom fight. And I have to tell you that they gave me personal inspiration during the system change at the late 80s. So this is a message for the future medical students.
The goal of Semmelweis University is to continue to set an example and take a leadership role, be it in the defense against pandemic, science, world-class education, or patient care.